e-commerce transactions have resulted in a total turnover increase of 19% in the third quarter of this year. This trend is expected to continue well into the fourth quarter, which includes festive season spending and the Black Friday period. Absa says it has noted the significant increase, which saw a 25% hike in the first quarter and another 16% rise in the second quarter. Absa Relationship Banking Executive Chris Wood joins us for this discussion. Thank you so much for your time, Chris. Based on these developments, can we say that e-commerce growth is beating expectations?
Hi, Timo-san. Great to be with you and great to be able to share some of the information we're seeing. Certainly, e-commerce has gone from strength to strength over the last couple of years. I think we saw COVID as a major catalyst for consumers being more willing to move online, and certainly more merchants being able to go and sell their products and solutions through digital channels. Expecting, I think, this Black Friday and certainly Black November, which it's really become, lots of sales coming through the duration of the month, to continue to show solid growth and solid strength in the e-commerce and digital payment space.
That convenience has come in handy, but the realistic near-term expectation of growth then, as the current trajectory has been of an accelerated level, what is expected, and is the South African landscape basically ready to move totally towards an e-commerce type of trade?
I think we'll still see a lot of good merchant activity through physical retailers. I think, when it comes to this time of the year, a lot of it comes down to the willingness of retailers to put really great deals in front of consumers. So whether that's a physical brick and mortar store where, you jump in your car and you go and sort of search for the best deal, or, someone logging online from the comfort of their couch, it really does come down to whether or not, the product that's being sold is something that's needed. And I think that's maybe a shift we're going to see this year versus previous years. In previous years, there was always a lot of excitement around a great deal, whether or not you needed that product in your house, to people now actually going and doing a lot more research and looking for potentially bigger cost items, but things that they've probably done some research over time. I don't think it's going to be exclusively e-commerce. I think we're going to continue to see really good double-digit growth in e-commerce, but I think if traditional brick and mortar, shopping mall-based retailers are still putting great deals in front of consumers, they'll see good growth there as well.
Absolutely. On the security front, though, has concern in that regard minimized given the precautionary measures that are used by service providers now?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of development and a lot of focus in certainly card-based fraud and on monitoring. Most customers now are a lot more in tune with what looks like good security when they're making purchases online. There's obviously a lot of capability built into doing a card transaction. We've also seen other players coming into market, and I think we'll continue to see innovation on payment rails with the likes of PaySharp coming into the merchant space down the line. But certainly, if you adhere to the right practices around purchasing with your card, obviously not sharing your information, making sure that you're capturing it securely, don't give your card to too many sources, make sure that you're doing the right things, then you should be safe. Obviously, there's a lot of what we call multi-factor authentication, or basically not just using the credentials on your card, but using your mobile phone as a secondary level of authentication that's built into the card process that we should ensure we're always having in place. Merchants have to adhere to certain standards when they sell their goods. That includes things like 3D secure tokenization, making sure that all the right levels of authentication and password protection, etc., are built into that transaction.
Lastly, Chris, what's to be said about this growth, maybe leaving some behind, from the less tech-savvy to the elderly individuals in our community and or disadvantaged in terms of resources? Not everybody has a smartphone, for instance.
Yeah, and that's 100% true. I mean, I think over the years, we've definitely seen the willingness of older and older communities to actually go online. It used to be kind of the exclusive domain of younger, more tech-savvy people. But I think if you look at some of the types of sectors that are moving into online sales, I think about travel, getting great deals on a bundled package to go to, some exotic location or a short left within the South African landscape. I think more and more older generations are getting comfortable with that type of purchase. But certainly, as I said earlier, the deals and the specials are going to be there for those customers that are willing to jump in their car and go down to kind of local mall. As we build up to the Black Friday weekend, we certainly expect to see a lot more marketing and message pushing into the communities around where people can go and sort of see what's on offer, whether it's, if I take the e-commerce space around that same example, whether it's going down to your local travel management partner and walking into their store and sitting down and saying, hey, what's the best deal you've got for me? I think those will certainly be on offer in the physical brick and mortar space just as much as they'll be on the e-commerce side. I guess what e-commerce just does is it makes it so much easier to put so much more information in front of a consumer. You don't have to move. You can just flick between multiple screens and the offers are all there, whether it's sporting goods, whether it's retail goods, whatever it might be. Whereas obviously in the brick and mortar space, you've got to go and you've got to walk the pavements.
Yeah, thank you so much for your input. Absa Relationship Banking Executive there, Chris Wood, talking to us about the growth that we've seen in South Africa in the e-commerce space.